So with your permission, can we start?
Yes, please go ahead. Also, just before you begin, Jayant, have you shared all the links that I had forwarded to you?
Sir, I have shared all link in our register participant WhatsApp group. Please proceed, sir.
All
Please,
right, all right, great.
Devanshi, please proceed.
Good evening to everyone. I am Divyanshi Rathod, delegate of Sambhav Initiative and moderator of this event. On behalf of organizing committee, I extend a warm welcome to our esteemed dignitary, Mr. Yashowardhan Tiwari sir, and all the participants in the second day of 1 week online national capacity building program on data privacy laws and artificial intelligence. Today's session is on ethical concern of artificial intelligence. This program is jointly organized by Sambhav Initiative, which is working towards alternative dispute resolution, free legal aid, mental health, and creating legal literacy under the direction and guidance of Patron Chief of Sambhav Initiative, Honorable Mr. Justice C.K. Thakkar sir, former Judge of Supreme Court of India, and Patron of Sambhav Initiative, Honorable Mr. Justice M.R. Shah sir, former Judge of Supreme Court of India, and Pro Bono India, which is working towards legal aid and legal literacy. The last few minutes of the session will be reserved for the Q&A, and it is my absolute honor to introduce our distinguished speaker, Mr. Yashowardhan Tiwari sir. Sir is a program manager, public policy in Yashowardhan University. Sir holds an LLM in general legal studies from Jindal Global Law School, where he graduated as a silver medalist, securing second rank in his uh, college. He also earned his BLLB honors from the same institute, receiving prestigious merit-based scholarship in recognition of academic excellence. Sir holds the position of Program Manager, Public Policy in the Office of the Vice Chancellor at Rishihood University, a role which he is central to organizing key initiatives like Good Governance Yatras, and heads the content strategy and coordination efforts for the Rashtraam blog and leads the community management for Rashtraam Labs as well. Previously, Sir held the position of Research Fellow at India Foundation, where his work spanned across numerous prestigious events, including Indian Ocean Conference 2023 and NLIU India Foundation Constitutional Law Symposium, where he played an instrumental role in organizing several conferences and contributing to the foundation efforts. Sir has been regular contributor to the foundation blog and encouraged in thought leadership on subjects like Indian constitutional traditions, nationalism, and decolonial legal studies. Sir also has authored and co-authored numerous research articles and books in a very renowned journals and edited volumes. Notable among these are contributions to Indian legal history, constitutional law, and topics surrounding the politics of sovereignty, right of nature, and history of decolonization. His work has been published in prominent journals such as History and Sociology of South Asia and International Journal of Law and Policy Review. Outside his former role, Sir has been an active participant in various intellectual forums. He served as the founding student coordinator of both GJU Conservative Society and Indeed Studies Society at OP Jindal Global University. Sir also held a leadership position in India's Genius GJU, formerly think tank of GJU, and also represented India at Asian India Youth Summit 2023, where he delivered the country's presentation. Sir, it's honor to have you with us today. Thank you for joining, and now it's over to you.
Yeah. So I'm audible. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yeah. Thank you for the kind introduction. First of all, I'd like to thank Sambhav Initiative and Pro Bono India for keeping the session. Just for the knowledge of the participants, this session was actually the session is being organized because I had specifically requested for it. I had a word with Jayant and Hiranshi ji, and I had requested that they should have a session on the ethical concerns of artificial intelligence. And the reason is why I had requested for it is that you cannot talk about data privacy laws and the other themes that are being covered in this capacity building program without talking about the ethics of AI. And I personally feel that uh, artificial intelligence is something which is obviously which has sort of over the entire discourse, whether it is in the legal field or in any other sector, uh, be it the tech sector, tech space, or even the policy sector. So it has penetrated deep into all the sectors, so to speak. But no one seems to be very concerned with the relationship between artificial intelligence and ethics per se. So I just felt that having a primer, having a discussion on the ethical concerns and considerations around artificial intelligence would be good both for the participants and good for me as well, because during our discussions I'm sure there will be many things that will be pointed out by the participants, which will be sort of something new to learn for me as well. So I once again thank both Sambhav Hiranshi ji, Jain ji, Kalpesh ji, for having the session, for kindly hosting the session. And I haven't prepared a formal PPT as such. I thought that I'll keep it sort of free flowing. But okay, so I wanted to lay out this whole idea behind the session before I begin. And uh, simultaneously I also want to discover a few things, that a few subsets of ethics of AI, which includes the relationship of artificial intelligence and democracy, which is a larger concern. Then obviously the latest developments that are happening in the sector, and how do you keep track of the ethical framework around these developments, so on and so forth. So all right. So the biggest problem, according to me, when it comes to artificial intelligence, is that most of us are clueless about it, which means that there's a lot of blabbering and chattering that is happening around artificial intelligence, around the discourse of surrounding artificial intelligence. But then it's just that it is just blabber and chatter without much content. And the reason is that most of us don't actually belong to a tech background, which is very important to understand the nuts and bolts of how artificial intelligence works. Because, say, for instance, if I were to ask you, what do you mean by artificial intelligence? There will be multiple definitions of artificial intelligence which will be given. So let us begin with that. Why doesn't any of the participants just volunteer and give a definition of artificial intelligence? Any one of you, please raise your hand, unmute yourselves, and go ahead with the definition of artificial intelligence.
Okay, participant, you can unmute yourself and communicate, or you can put it in the chat box. Yes, any input from your side?
It's means its ability of a machine to do a
Right.
task just like a human.
Ability of a machine to do a task just like a human.
Human.
Excellent. Excellent. Yes. Yes. Now we have one definition which says that there if a machine is able to do things that humans are able to do, then perhaps we can call it as artificial intelligence. This definition highlights two aspects. First, that uh, it sort of indicates that till now machines weren't able to do things which humans were able to do. But now we are coming up with machines. We are going into an age of machines where machines can act like humans, can work like humans. And then even in the chat box, there's a definition machine like human, and second is cognitive ability to analyze and decision making, which is intelligence. And same if it is done artificially, then it is AI. All right. There's another definition: capacity of reasoning, problem solving, analyzing, human intelligence. So now the question which arises is that many of your definitions seem to be very similar to what a computer could do previously. So what is it that distinguishes artificial intelligence from, say, from a computer? Because there was an era where you had very large computers which had immense compute power, and which were able to do many of the things which humans are able to do, but not most of the things. So how then would you identify artificial intelligence specifically?
Because initially, on the basis of the programming,
Right,
how you programmed it, accordingly it was giving the output. It was not applying its
right,
mind or intelligence to give the result. But
right.
now, in addition to that, intelligence is also used, so that we say it AI.
Right. So what you perhaps mean by intelligence here is that when we feed data into the systems are sort of able to digest the data and also learn things from the data which are not pre-programmed, right?
Right.
Great. And we also know that, there are different kinds of artificial intelligence. Some are generative. Some people talk about, you must have heard about generative AI. Then there is predictive AI. So there are different sets of different modes of learning within artificial intelligence itself. But yeah, the basic thing is that artificial intelligence is able to come up with learnings and solutions which it is deriving by itself without any pre-programming being done. So that could be one basic definition of artificial intelligence. Now the question is that, as I mentioned, that there are different definitions. The reason is because many people also distinguish it on the basis of the capabilities of the AI system that we are talking about. So perhaps some systems might not qualify as artificial intelligence, even if they are predictive. Reason being that people would argue that these are not the skills which, say, humans have, or these are not the levels at which humans can work on the same subject or theme. But then again, AI is able to do much more than what humans can do. So you must have heard about this uh, uh, general models, or general models of artificial intelligence, which are being prepared to work just like humans. So they are very holistic in that sense. They are not specialized AI machinery. And then there are many AI models which are very specialized, very domain specific, right? So they might be employed in the health sector, in the education sector. or in some other specific field, but they won't be functional in other sectors. So there is a basic, like the consensus over what qualifies as artificial intelligence, as I see it, is something which is still being developed. Which means that if the consensus is still in the process of being developed, then the ethical frameworks on how to develop artificial intelligence, how to deploy artificial intelligence, how to use it, is also something which is being developed on the go. So it is being evolved as a process over time. But the basic challenge with preparing ethical, with coming up with ethical frameworks for artificial intelligence is that the pace at which technology in the technology of artificial intelligence is being developed is much more faster as compared to ethical frameworks prepared to sort of justify its usage. So let me give you a very small example of, say, I'm sure most of you have used ChatGPT by now, or you must be using it in your daily works, right? So when you use ChatGPT, I have actually shared an article with Jayant, which he must have shared on the group. The article has been published by, let me just check 1 second. Yeah, so the article is titled The Ethical Dilemmas of AI. And if you go through the article has listed many fields in which artificial intelligence raises multiple ethical dilemmas. Now, this piece has actually been authored by using ChatGPT. And this is something which is specifically mentioned in the piece which has been published. So, a basic issue which emerges in the uses of Chat GPT is obviously copyright issues, infringement issues, right? That whether the text that is being generated by Chat GPT, which has obviously been which has been fed with a lot of data, with a lot of authored works which have been authored previously by humans, that data and those works are being used by ChatGPT to give these results, which then we use again in our articles, right? So this raises certain ethical concerns related to copyright infringement, related to issues of authorship. So in fact, what the author of this particular piece that I have shared has done is that he has mentioned at the end that the article has been co-authored by ChatGPT. Now, can ChatGPT be considered a legitimate author? Is also something that we need to think about, right? Am I making sense up to here?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So, so you see, the reason why I gave you this example was, and why I shared this article was because these are not any, these are not big issues which we might not come across. These are issues that we will be facing in our daily lives. Say tomorrow, if I author an article and publish it on a website online, and the article will then be fed into ChatGPT, and I have come up with a new theory. Say, for example, there is this idea of subaltern Hindutva. There is something called subaltern Hindutva, which is basically a framework to analyze the Hindutva politics of the Rashtriya Sevak Sangh and the Bharatiya Janata Party. And this term was coined by a political cephalogist and scientist called Sajjan Kumar Singh. He coined this term way back, I think, in 2009 or 2010. And has published multiple articles on it. Now, if say this term is fed into chat GPT, which I'm sure it might have been till now, by now, and then you go and start searching about subaltern Hindutva, and later you also write an article on the piece using the term subaltern Hindutva without actually knowing, because say ChatGPT might not tell you that this term has been coined by this political cephalogist, and you use it thinking that this is something new which will be very helpful for your own article, and publish it, then obviously it will create a copyright issue, right? And then the Sajjan Kumar Singh can easily claim infringement, stating that you have used his idea in your own work. So this is a real life example of the kind of damage that something as simple as writing an article using ChatGPT can do. And this is the reason why we need to think about the ethical framework of using such tools. Now, ChatGPT, mind you, is just one example or one model of artificial intelligence. There are, if not thousands, at least hundreds of such models which are working in various fields. So how do you deal with the ethical issues that these AI models will be raising in the coming times? Again, let us come to the example of, say, Sarvam AI, which is a language translation model. Language translation model. I'm sure. Have you heard of Sarvam AI? Has anyone here heard of Sarvam AI? Right. All right. So
not heard.
okay. 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 So just hypothetically speaking, say, let us talk about an artificial intelligence model which is used by the courts in the coming years. Yes, it is Vaibhav Tripathi has written its language translation AI. That's Sarvam AI. That's right. But
Is
in
it is a Sarvam or Supesh?
no, it's Sarvam AI.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I think there are multiple models. उसमें भाषिणी भी है. There is something called भाषिणी as well, which is actually which was used by the PM during Kashi Tamil Sangamam, which was organized in Varanasi. So now obviously there are multiple AI softwares that have come up even in the field of language translation. But say hypothetically speaking, if we talk about an AI model which is used to deliver judgments, you can imagine it this way, that all the data that is available on SEC Online, Manupatra, Hein Online, Westlaw, all the websites which have judgments and legal articles, right? All the data is fed into this model, and then this model is trained in a manner where it can deliver judgments, where it is given the authority to deliver justice. Would such a model would the use of such a model be ethical? Now, this is this is not just a legal question. This is a serious ethical question. And mind you that such models are actually in pipeline. The preparation of such models is actually in pipeline across, not just in India, but abroad as well. And these models are being trained on thousands of judgments. So that, because we very well know that since we are a common law country, these case laws, it is on the basis of case laws that judgments are delivered. Obviously, after interpretation of statutes. So if we feed all the legislations and all the case laws, then ideally an artificial intelligence model should be ready to deliver judgments on the particular subject, that particular subject जिसका data आपने उसमें feed किया है. So now the question is that would this be considered justice if the AI is actually able to deliver sensible judgments? Another related question is that how do you so the justification that is being given for the uses of such models is that there are many petty cases where the question of justice, uh, there's someone, yeah, there's someone who is trying to speak. Nancy ji, are you asking something? All right. Okay. So, as I was saying, there are many petty cases where the question of justice, the answer to question of justice is very clear. But then there are hard cases as well, right? So all of you must have read in jurisprudence about Ronald Dawkins and his division of hard cases and then easy cases, and his idea of Hercules, there being a superhuman who delivers, who resolves the hard cases and delivers justice. So similarly, can AI models be used to deliver judgments, given that there could be certain nuances which there could be certain nuances which the artificial intelligence software might miss out on. Now, here Vaibhavji has a message that artificial intelligence is emotionless. So judgment requires interpretation of words and documents, and emotionally too, some interpretations are needed. So it cannot be considered justice. But then at the same time, there are many legal doctrines which say that, justice should not be delivered on emotions. Justice has to be delivered on what the law says. So if what the law says is clear, then why cannot such models be used to deliver justice or to deliver judgments? So this is a question which raises ethical concerns. Yes, you are right that there will be many loopholes in any legal framework, and these loopholes can obviously be exploited. And you could argue that artificial intelligence might not be able to sort of take note of these loopholes or identify these loopholes. But then you could also argue at the same time that given that it will be using a number of case laws that have already been fed into the data of artificial intelligence, it could very well have the predictive capacity to identify loopholes. So in that case, why shouldn't it be used to deliver justice? So any thoughts amongst the participants on this question?
Sir, will you please repeat it so we can, means I can understand the contours of that question, please?
Yeah, sure. So my question is that if we have an AI model which has been fed with all the legislations on a particular subject, and has also been fed with, in terms of data, with all the judgments, all the case laws that have been previously delivered on these legislations, and then if there is a case related to that particular legislation, why shouldn't we use an AI model to deliver a judgment instead of having a judge do the same? Given that we very well know that our judiciary is heavily overburdened, and the number of cases pending runs into crores, wouldn't the use of AI, which is artificial intelligence, which are so powerful softwares, and have such immense predictive as well as generative capacity, why shouldn't we use such AI models to deliver justice and to give judgments on certain legislations?
May I?
Yeah, both Varsha ji and Arvind ji. Arvind ji, please go ahead, and then Varsha ji can speak.
You are correctly pointed out, but so far as the facts of the case are concerned, means judgment is delivered on the basis of facts, right? If
Right.
facts are 100% identical, then we can say that on the basis of or with the help of assistance of AI, we can deliver a judgment where the facts are 100% correct. But
Okay.
in day-to-day life, facts are changing from sentence to sentence or from act to act. Incidents involved in a particular case are different. Therefore, with the help of these modules, we cannot apply the same thing. So therefore, we can bifurcate the AI module in such a way that in a case where 100% facts are identical, we can apply the AI module. But so far as other cases are concerned where facts are different, then it needs assistance of human to decide whether the prediction given by AI is correct or not. In that way, we can go.
All right. All right. Varsha ji, what are your thoughts?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the good session, sir. Excellent session. But according to my opinion, sir, yes, Arvindji said that is the correct. That is the 100%. The facts are not correct for each case, and the facts and the circumstances behind the commission of that particular act or a wrong or a crime or offense may be different. Social structure is different. The psychology of the person is different. The situation the person is while committing the act may be different. So we cannot rely 100% on AI generated system that draw the same conclusion from the same set of facts. It may be depending upon the witnesses, they are weighing the what is the deposition of the one of the witness and the other of the witness, what is the plausible and probable cause out of for the commission of that particular crime or offense or act may be different from person to person, and therefore it is harmful that totally that we can rely on AI based model. Instead, we can rely on same set of facts. The same set means most probable cases where the witnesses are same, the depositions are same, and but the drawing conclusion may be based on the AI generated system, but the human interference is required to draw whether that conclusion is properly given or not. That is my opinion, sir.
All right. All right. So, see, now if I were to give you a counterpoint, what my argument would be that even the judges try and use the judgments which have similar facts, and then in the by using previous case laws which have similar similar fact scenario which can be connected to the present fact scenario of the case at hand, they superimpose those fact scenario in this particular case, like in the current cases, and then deliver the judgments accordingly. Then why cannot our AI models do the same thing?
So
Perhaps our AI models.
yes, sir. That is a possibility, but percentage of such judges may be less than the person or the judges having the different opinion, applying the law and situation properly to that particular case. Because many Supreme Court judgments, we observe that they are thinking out of the box and they are delivering the social justice which is most needed for that particular situation. So we cannot say that every judge will draw the mechanically that particular precedent, rely on that and apply that particular those particular facts to the current case and then apply it and give the conclusion. No, we cannot presume that. Yes, there is always a fault situation in 1% or 2%, but we cannot say that why, when the judges are doing same, why we should not rely totally on the mechanics. No, sir. According to me, it is the human element is lost in that. And we are dealing with human and their justice, social justice. So I don't think so that it will be justifiable. Sorry.
All right, all right. Mahinder ji has raised hand. Could you please
Yeah,
go ahead?
yes. Sorry, I joined late and I was there now. I could hear this one. I think the last part of that the madam was speaking about. I do agree. There are a lot of cases where Supreme Court has expressed this empathy on the rape cases. At the same time, saying we are helpless because the evidence goes against you. Now they know evidence for the against this accused. So that kind of sympathy or you say emotional elements can't be expressed by these machines while giving the judgments. One. Two, when we say everything mechanically, everything fed into computer and all, I think AI is something not new. It must be going from ages and all. When people used to predict about, okay, no, this earthquake is coming and all these things coming, they are all kind of based on some kind of experiment, some kind of data fed into the system and all. When we go into this into the judicial mode and all, first of all, I think there is a need to understand also whether there is a need for judges then, whether there is a need for advocates also, whether there is a need for all these kind of courtrooms and all. You just simply put all these kind of your petition and their submission and their pleadings, all these things, and let this artificial intelligence should give us okay. This is the kind of judgment is coming based on this kind of analytical study and all. Is it that mode we are going into? Then I think I don't agree with this. We have to be some kind of a human element involved in this process.
All right, all right. So I think at least 50% of my 50% of my motivation for today's session has been fulfilled, in the sense that this is the kind of skepticism that I wanted the participants to have, which you very legitimately do have about artificial intelligence. And uh, you know this argument can just go on back and forth. We can keep on going back and forth. I could present some other arguments on this, but the basic idea is that uh, as I was saying, that the pace at which innovation in the field of artificial intelligence and the pace at which artificial intelligence is penetrating different sectors, including the legal sector, including uh,
Hello. Yes, sir. Hello. Am I audible?
Sir, you are audible, but the our guest is not audible.
Yeah, that's when I was checking. I think there's a network issue. Sorry, yeah.
Hi, am I audible now?
Yes, yeah, audible. Sorry, yeah, over to me.
Yeah, yeah. I think there was some network issue. I don't know, but I got logged out suddenly. Hello.
Sir, you are audible. Kindly continue.
All right, all right. So as I was saying, that the pace at which innovation is happening in this sector is much more as compared to our ethical or questioning of the ethics of it. So what we need to focus on is कि हम कितना ज़्यादा critically analyze कर सके इस technology को. That is something that we need to focus on and work on. Mahendra ji, you have your hand raised. Do you have a question?
You
Or
asked
do you have
captain,
some?
Yes, I already asked this one. Replied to that.
All right, all right, all right. Now, there's a Harvard professor, Michael Sandels. I think many of you must have seen his lecture on justice. It's a very famous lecture that he delivers every year, in at Harvard, and that's like his opening class of law and jurisprudence. So. Michael Sandels has argued that there are three major areas of ethical concern for society as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. First is obviously privacy, privacy and surveillance. Since we are continuously feeding artificial intelligence and giving access to artificial intelligence with a lot of data, obviously including private data, it raises the question of privacy, because data is ultimately something that is being stored by the companies that are being fed with this data. So many of you must have heard of GPUs. There are huge GPUs and GPU systems which all these big companies including OpenAI and Perplexity AI, फिर Indian जो भी कृत्रिम है, which Ola is making. So all these big LLM models of AI, they use huge sets of GPUs which consume a lot of energy, right? And this save the data through these GPU systems. So privacy and surveillance is something which AI infringes upon, right? So that is the one of the major concerns that AI raises. The second is bias and discrimination. So I don't know how many of you keep track of news related to artificial intelligence, but if you have a look at some of the news coming out in the initial periods when the AI boom actually began. AI boom, as in when the news about artificial intelligence started spreading, which was around say 2021, 2022, when literally people started actually using Chat GPT. They realized that artificial intelligence, depending on the data that is being fed into it, can be heavily biased. So there were yes, so as Vaibhav Tripathi ji has mentioned that even Chat GPT tries to butter its words in favor of the user. So this is actually something which I have experienced as well. That initially these softwares were biased against the users, but then against certain kinds of users. So say there were reports that if you are a white male, then the Chat GPT will be in your favor. And if you are say if you ask questions related to color and race, there are high chances that some of these softwares might be racist in their attitudes, right? And then obviously now there is this example of Grok, where Grok even was I don't know if it still is, but in the initial stages when it was launched, Grok could even abuse people. So there's this tendency of bias and discrimination that creeps into AI models, depending on the or influenced by the data that is being fed into them. And then the last concern regarding last major concern regarding artificial intelligence is obviously the role of human judgment. So, in the beginning, when I asked that what is the definition of artificial intelligence according to you, many of you immediately mentioned that it should be able to do things which humans can do. So human-like capacity is something which is expected from artificial intelligence. But then at the same time, this is also one of the biggest concerns or one of the biggest threats which artificial intelligence poses, which is that ultimately it is an artificial machine, which means that it does not have emotions. And if it does not have emotions, then how can you make it emotionally sensitive? Which means that you have to also humanize artificial intelligence. तो ये जो आज का सेशन है, this might sound a bit theoretical to many of you, but this is not just theory. This has real life impacts. So if when I asked you the question about AI models delivering judgments instead of our judges delivering judgments, most of you were critical about it. And one of the key reasons was that artificial intelligence models cannot be sufficiently emotionally sensitive to understand the context of certain cases, certain situations, or certain legal questions that are being raised. And it won't be able to take into consideration the socio-political, socio-cultural background or scenarios behind those cases, which should be taken, which should legitimately be taken into consideration while delivering a judgment. Same can be the case with other AI models as well in other sectors as well. Now, just to give you another example, artificial intelligence has definitely made many the lives of many of the people much easier. In fact, हम सभी की lives बहुत easy कर दी है artificial intelligence ने. You can generate content just by entering a one-line command, right? So this is something which AI models are now able to help out with. But there are studies which are actually scientifically proving that by the use of artificial intelligence or its penetration into the education sector has, rather than helping the students, it has actually had a damaging effect on the cognitive abilities of the students. So how do you counter that? How do you respond to that? Then, as I mentioned, that the concern that AI is not emotionally sensitive, which means that if AI is not emotionally sensitive, it won't be able to respond not just emotionally, but rationally as well to certain situations. So say if you were to use artificial intelligence in the defense sector, which is a very, very sensitive sector, how do you train your AI models such that it does not make any irrational decision at any point of time? It could be anything as simple as controlling or moderating of ceasefire on our borders. Say if this is handed over to artificial intelligence, that when do you violate ceasefire and when do you go back into ceasefire? जैसे कि अभी all of us know that we are almost on the brink of war with Pakistan, or at least that is the general perception that has been developed in the mainstream media, in the popular narratives. So now Pakistan is continuously continuously indulging in violation of the ceasefire on our line of control. If from our side, if from the Indian side, instead of the Indian the soldiers, human soldiers, if we had employed, say, AI powered robots which was supposed to respond to ceasefires, how will the robots respond? How should the robots respond? Can they actually be trained in a manner where they control the ceasefire violations without turning the situation into a warlike situation? Can we do that? Is that a possibility? So you have to think about use of artificial intelligence the ethical use of artificial intelligence at a very minute level. मतलब आपको हर चीज में आपको सोचना पड़ेगा कि should AI be used in this or not, and you also have to develop a certain kind of basic vision or a basic understanding of what the practical consequences of AI usage could be for any sector. You have to be very careful in whether AI should be used or not. And then there are multiple theories, multiple theorists whom you can refer to, so on and so forth. But it's just a call to using your common sense, right? A call to using your common sense when dealing with artificial intelligence. But given that many of you are already, some of you might be in the legal sector, some of you might be in the policy space, many of you are research scholars. So these are serious questions that all of us need to pick up together and need to address before we lose everything out of hand. And the reason why I say this, the reason why I pushed for today's session was just to just to highlight the need to drill this idea into our minds that there needs to be some healthy skepticism of artificial intelligence usage in both our daily lives and in various sectors as well. So that was the main reason why I had proposed today's session, and I hope I have been able to convey at least a part of the message to some of you. Jayant, so yeah, that is largely what I wanted to say from my end. And if there are questions or some other points to discuss, we can definitely do that. I myself am not an expert, obviously, on artificial intelligence. I myself don't have an understanding of the tech of artificial intelligence. And this is something which literally cripples us when we talk about AI. Because as I said in the beginning, that most of us are blabbering about AI without understanding the nuts and bolts of it. And it is only possible for those who are actually working in the tech innovation sector of artificial intelligence to understand how the artificial intelligence is functioning, and on the basis of that to predict what can be the possible consequences of AI. So I hope you understand how how sensitive this situation and this development of artificial intelligence is, because you can be we definitely need political philosophers to seriously think about artificial intelligence, but then at the same time most of us don't have the tech grounding, which limits our capabilities to critically assess the use of artificial intelligence. Yeah.
Okay, participant, you can unmute and ask question or put in the chat box.
So there is
Okay. Yeah.
there is already a question. There is already a question from Arvind G. What are the ethical considerations in legal fields, especially in justice delivery? I think this is something which we have already discussed, which is that whether artificial intelligence should be used in deciding cases, in deciding judgments. Whether also another practical use of AI is to segregate cases. You can use AI to segregate cases, and then you can on the basis of the complexity of cases, and then the easy cases can be resolved through AI models. So again, the question comes back to whether you should be using it even to segregate cases. Does artificial intelligence have the capability to analyze each and every situation of a given case? Hello? Hello?
Hello. Yeah.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible here. There are a couple of questions in the chat box.
Hello?
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah. Right. And then there's another question, when will India draft laws related to AI? So India is working on multiple AI regulations. I think the first draft regulations of artificial intelligence were published in 2018. So the Ministry of Electronics and Communication, which is METI and other ministries, they are already working on draft legislations, and many of these regulations have been published. But the point is that, are they able to keep? Yeah, but the point is that, are they able to keep track with the innovations that are happening in this field? That is the question that we need to ask. So as I said, that most of uh, regulations are not able to keep track with it, because how will you do it? Every week a new innovation is happening in AI sector now. Follow news on artificial intelligence, you will realize कि यहाँ तो हर हफ्ते एक नया development हो जाता है. And this is not me saying, this is something which the biggest players and senior most CEOs of artificial intelligence are saying कि हमारे सेक्टर में तो हर हफ्ते एक नया इनोवेशन हो जाता है. तो अगर ऐसा हो रहा है तो आप कैसे उसको कंट्रोल, कैसे रेगुलेट करोगे? हाउ विल यू कीप ट्रैक ऑफ इट? दीज आर वेरी सीरियस प्रॉब्लम्स. एक लेजिस्लेशन बनने में हमारे यहाँ 10 साल लगे किसी भी चीज पे. Yeah. All right. There's another question regarding ideal policy for regulation of artificial intelligence. I seriously don't have any idea of an ideal policy as such. My suggestion is just that we need to think critically about it. And once we start thinking critically, once we start generating research material on it, research scholarship on the ethical concerns related to AI, then we can talk about what can be an ideal policy and how do we regulate it, what are the practical implications, so on and so forth. But पहले हम वो करना शुरू तो करें. As of now, we are not even doing that. Well, should AI be used in politics or not? I don't think it's a valid question. And the reason is that, the question which we should be asking is not whether it should be used in politics or not. Politics में तो already use कर रहे हैं. AI is already being used in politics. But whether it is legitimate or not, whether it is, how should I put it, whether it is in sync with all democratic values or not, is something which we need to ask. So in fact, I have one of the articles that I have shared with Jayant, which he has shared with all of you, was co-authored by me, and it is precisely on the usage of artificial intelligence in elections. AI is being used heavily in election campaigns. So should it be used in election campaigns? If it is used in election campaigns, how does it influence elections? And if it is influencing elections on a on a major scale, if it is sort of influencing it to an extent that it is able to shift entire masses towards a certain political group or towards a certain political idea, then should this be considered democratic? Like, these are the questions that we need to ask. So I'm not here to give answers, because honestly I don't have answers as of now, but these are the questions that you have to ask. So instead of asking whether it should be used in politics or not, you should be asking whether its use is democratic or not, because it is already being used. That is already, like, that is something which has already taken off. वो तो हमारे हाथ से already निकल चुका है.
Hello, sir. May I ask one question to you?
Yeah, please,
Sir,
please.
what I want to ask is, we are discussing, and we today all our generation, our scientists and our technologies are discussing about development of AI and the different generations of AI. Let us say that. So my question is, today we have some set of ethical standards relating to dealing with AI and its development and its use in our social society or social dealings. My question is, sir, if we are as AI is developing by leaps and bounds, tomorrow AI is learning is with self-learning, that it may use or it may reach to the conclusion which is unimaginable to today's people, then the consequences are to be felt by the society at large. At that time, are we going to develop that ethical standards differently, or these standards will go ahead and control, or we can regulate that use of AI?
Precisely, ma'am. So, see, this is the challenge which artificial intelligence poses before us as a society. That in the case of generative artificial intelligence, how can you develop ethical standards when you don't even know what is it going to generate the next day, right? So once you reach a stage where it is able to generate content and it is able to generate material on its own, ideas on its own, once artificial intelligence is actually able to generate ideas, it will take a lot of time for us to first understand what are the ideas that have been generated and what could be the possible consequences.
Sir,
After that, we
sorry to disturb, but it
yeah,
is, I think it is out of our boundary or out of our intelligence sometimes, because today also we are not presuming, or we cannot presume what the
precisely
other
my point.
person is going to do. And same
Yes,
thing will happen
I
to
totally
artificial
agree.
intelligence.
Right. I totally agree with you. And this is what I'm saying. This is the problem that artificial intelligence
So, sir,
poses. This is precisely the problem that it poses.
so that is also a hampering the regulations to be enacted by our legislation or legislative assembly or parliament, that we are not
Yes,
we
but
are
then,
not
but then see,
understanding to whom we are dealing with.
this is a major ethical challenge that the AI sector poses before us, which is basically कि क्या आपको इनोवेशन रोक देना चाहिए सिर्फ इसलिए क्योंकि कल को वो कुछ नया जनरेट कर देगा जिसको आप रेगुलेट नहीं कर पाएंगे या जिसको आप समझ नहीं पाएंगे, राइट? या आपको इनोवेशन चलने देना चाहिए, क्योंकि अगर आप इनोवेशन रोकते हैं तो पूरा टेक सेक्टर आपके खिलाफ हो जाएगा. So what can the government do? I mean, the government is also in a fix, na? In
Yes,
such
sir.
situations, the government cannot take a decision. The government has to go with the flow. And that is why largely there is, there is a seeming consensus on artificial intelligence. Ki artificial intelligence is something which is good, it is something which should be adopted. And all of us should go ahead with the flow. And once it comes up, once it has developed certain models, we should simply be adopting those models and then regulate those models. But then the predictability the capacity to predict what AI can deliver in the future is something which is very bleak for us, because the sector is developing at a very fast pace.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So yeah. So I mean, again, I'm not giving an answer here because giving an answer is not possible. These are questions which even the biggest philosophers of today's time are not. These are concerns which have to be raised. And when I start thinking, uh, writing, we can reach some conclusion. I mean, the very adoption of artificial intelligence, just look at the speed at which artificial intelligence has been adopted in various sectors, not just by the government, but by the Indian society. It is fascinating. I mean, for a society which seemingly is very skeptical about technology, or at least we have always been portrayed in a manner that we are a backward society and we are very skeptical about all these new technologies, or don't adapt very quickly. We are, in fact, we are one of the fastest changing societies in terms of adoption and adaptation to artificial intelligence. So, okay, again, how important is it to know languages? Well, I think it is very important to know the languages and, to develop AI models. And what perhaps we could do is that, as people working in the policy space and as people in the legal sector, what we should do is we should very closely interact with the people working in the deep tech sector, because that is the only way out to understand artificial intelligence, to understand the functioning of AI, and to also get a sense of the future of artificial intelligence, and keep a track on the innovation. So once we are able to do that, then perhaps we can comment on the consequences of its usage in the Indian society. That could be one of the ways forward. Well, I would definitely recommend 2, 3 books as well to you. One is by, so I'm just typing out the names of the authors in the chat. One whom I'm sure many of you must have heard about. Uh, he has written this book, Nexus. You should definitely read it. He's a historian, a philosopher, and he's very skeptical about artificial intelligence. And then there's another person called Mustafa Suleiman, who has written a book, The Coming Age, where Mustafa Suleiman is also one of the pioneers in the sector of artificial intelligence. He was one of the first pioneers actually to prepare some of these AI models, some of these AI models. Yeah. So you should definitely read his book, The Coming Age. All right. Rajul has hand raised. If you could.
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah, there's. Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead. Sorry.
no, sir, actually, I wanted to point out, like, I am a student in artificial intelligence. So, the working of the models, as you said, so I just wanted to point out, like, basically,
Yeah.
whenever we create a model, what the model does is analyze its patterns. So,
Right. Right.
yeah. So, basically, like, I'll give you another example instead of law. So, there's a stock market. Now, when we predict stock market prices, the data is purely financial. Everything is there. We have the past data. We have everything, but still the accuracy is very less. Why? Matlab, it's good enough, but it is still less. It's not. It's never good enough. So why is that? Because everyday
Right.
circumstances change, and AI cannot grasp that. It is only working on the data. So similarly, in decision making for law also, I feel that it will read the patterns, but it cannot understand the intent or the emotion behind whatever is happening in the cases.
Right. I think, yeah, I do agree with that. But then I also wonder, I mean, this is something which many people claim that perhaps if we have general AI models, right? Am I using the term right? I'm not sure. It's called something. It's general AI or the AI models which are equivalent to human capabilities and are
Like
holistic.
the chat GPT, the one that chat GPT uses?
No, not ChatGPT, not ChatGPT.
Okay.
ChatGPT तो बहुत basic model है.
Sir.
I'm forgetting the term, but okay,
Like it
but
uses
yeah,
large language models.
No, not LLM models also. मतलब chat
Hmm.
GPT वगैरह तो OpenAI वगैरह
हाँ.
तो LLM models
Yes,
ही
yes,
हैं.
yes.
But then what we are looking at, like say 10, 15 years down the line, are models which are just like humans, है ना? So मतलब they'll have human capabilities in all the sectors. AGI, that's right. That's right.
Yes,
Artificial
sir.
AGI. That is what I was trying to mention. Yeah. So with the advent of AGIs, there could be a chance that they could predict, predict properly in sectors where, as of now, they are not able to. So what do you do in such cases? And say when it comes to in the legal sector, there are many cases, many specific sectors, such as cases related to insurance. So अगर आप डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोर्ट्स वगैरह में जाएंगे, कुछ ऐसे लॉयर्स होते हैं जो केवल इंश्योरेंस के ही केसेस लड़ते हैं. एंड दे हैव अ वेरी सेट पैटर्न, कि ये इंश्योरेंस क्लेम का केस है, उसको ऐसे ही आर्ग्यू करना है एंड जज को ऐसे ही एड्रेस करना है एंड उसको डिस्पोज ऑफ कर देना है, मतलब जो भी रिलीफ दे के डिस्पोज ऑफ कर देना है. सो देर आर दीज सिंपल केसेस वेयर यू कुड परहैप्स रोप इन द यूसेज ऑफ आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस. तो केस मैनेजमेंट के लिए ऑलरेडी आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस इज बीइंग यूज्ड के टू केस फ्लो मैनेज करने के लिए, केस लोड मैनेज करने के लिए. नाउ if these predictive models are also, yeah, there's someone who's speaking.
सर मैं ये पूछना चाहती थी कि हम कोई
Yeah.
बुक पब्लिश करने के लिए एआई का यूज कर सकते हैं, मतलब चैट जीपीटी का यूज कर सकते हैं, वो प्रॉपर दिखाएगा?
बुक नहीं, आई डोंट थिंक सो. मतलब ये तो कुछ एटलीस्ट अभी तक कंस्ट्रेंट्स हैं एआई पे कि पूरे पूरे बुक्स वो आपको नहीं दे पाएगा. आई डोंट थिंक सो कि ऐसा होता है, बिकॉज अदरवाइज इट विल बी अ डायरेक्ट इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ऑफ कॉपीराइट ना.
बट सम आइडियाज एंड एआई का यूज कर सकते हैं.
Sir, actually, if we
हाँ,
use chat GPT like
yeah.
एक chapter के लिए, so it can give one chapter. So it can give the
हाँ,
content,
yes,
it
yes,
can give
yes, but see,
chapters and yes,
yes,
sir.
yes, yes, very true. So it can give chapters, and in chapters को collate करके आप एक वो book prepare कर सकते हो. So see, मतलब the problem is that uh, I think besides questioning the usage of AI or the threats of AI, we also need to think about how AI can be misused by humans, which it will obviously be in many cases. So unless you don't think about the misuse of AI, you cannot address the ethical concerns that artificial intelligence will be raising. So I think this is a thank you that you asked, and thank you, Rajul, that you pointed this out, because this actually conveys the point that I wanted to make.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Sir,
Yeah.
actually, there is another thing like there is a recommendation system like in Netflix or Instagram. So whenever we search anything, so the AI will
Right.
keep showing us that it will like how it is tailored according to what we are thinking. It is very
Yeah. So
dense.
that
Yes, sir.
definitely, and that puts you in a loop, right? मतलब फिर it's like it pushes you towards a certain kind of psychology. So it might not be the case कि आप वैसे ही recommendations चाहते हो, but then given your previous track record, it will just keep giving you certain kinds of recommendations. That is what social media also does. I mean, if
Yes,
you
sir. Social media only like Insta,
हाँ,
Facebook.
इंस्टा फेसबुक भी पहले यही कर रहे थे, उसी को अब और सॉर्ट ऑफ नुआंस्ड बना दिया है.
Like, to be honest, I got to know about this course because like it came on Insta, and that is because I'm interested in law. So I used to search a lot. So
Right,
it just came.
right. So that definitely happens. I mean, I'm sure all of us experience it on a daily basis. हम हमारे सोशल मीडिया पे हमें दिखाया जाता है जो हम देखना चाहते हैं. सो कहीं भी अनकंफर्टेबल कंटेंट हमको नहीं दिखाया जाएगा. And what happens is that you sort of you are pushed into a loop of groupthink and a loop of thinking on the same line. So इससे ideological polarization हो जाता है after a point. I mean, इसका political consequence ये है. So obviously that is also a threat. But then that helps the companies which use these models ना, मतलब ऐसे algorithms use करके ideological polarization तो आराम से करवाया जा सकता है, but उसके साथ साथ it also helps market the product well. Because if I am getting content from, say, Instagram which I want to see, then I'll be addicted to Instagram and I'll be constantly at it. Like I'll be constantly using it. So that just helps Insta.
Okay, I
Uh,
think, yeah.
all right. Yeah.
So I think it's 8:50. So thank you very much, Yashowardhan, for a great discussion, I would say. And I go, it was one kind of, brainstorming because there is no correct answer as of now. We are struggling to get
Definitely.
correct answer related to AI, whether it's good or right. We don't know, keep different policies, schemes are keep coming. But again, the strategically we have to use, like Chief Justice of India, D.Y. Chandrachud also stated, like it can like assist, not taking a decision. So for the assistant we can take, and judicially we have to use. Uh, as some of the participant, I think some of which must be knowing, we are doing case compilations for various subjects. So now for last 1 year we are struggling, right? So coordinators are people are, students are submitting in AI generated case submission. So and the sentence will go haywire here and there, no seeing nothing, because we have structurized. We have to prepare 6 to 8 pages case summary, extract primary details of the case, brief facts and issue, and then that way, and then lastly commentary. But again, immediately within a fraction of second, we'll know, okay, it is AI generated. So they keep telling, we have removed students also. We have instructed student, please do not use that thing, because human element is not there. So that we have noticed people saying it should be paid version, this and that bucket, and
Right.
personally very difficult, right? I have not used. Day before yesterday, my son, he's in ninth class. So I saw him laptop, and from chat GPT, from there he was writing in book. Then I scolded him, क्या कर रहा है? बुक से ज्यादा इसमें लिखा हुआ है. So he told, तो प्लीज
हाँ,
उसमें
हाँ, हाँ. ये
मतलब थोड़ा
प्रॉब्लम
ध्यान से यूज
कैसे है?
करना, या.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. हम डेली लाइफ में इन समस्याओं से हम डील करते रहते हैं एंड आगे और ज्यादा करेंगे. बट व्हाट डू यू डू अबाउट इट? मतलब दीज आर सीरियसली नाउ, इफ द चाइल्ड इज सेइंग दैट मेरी किताब में इतना कंटेंट नहीं है जो मेरे को एआई दे रहा है, तो मैं क्यों ना यूज करूं, तो आप उसको टैकल भी नहीं कर सकते.
एग्जैक्ट,
मतलब
मैं,
आप,
यस, या, यस, प्लीज प्लीज.
हाँ, आप कैसे उसको एक्सप्लेन करोगे कि एआई यूज करने से उसकी कॉग्निटिव एबिलिटी कम हो रही है, क्योंकि उसकी सोचने की शक्ति कम हो रही है, आप उसको कैसे कन्विंस करेंगे?
एग्जैक्टली, हाँ. अब मैंने तुरंत, क्योंकि लैपटॉप मेरा यूज करता है, तो मैं रात को, परसों की बात है, लाइक डे बिफोर यस्टरडे आई सॉ चैट जीपीटी का टैब खुला हुआ है, नो प्रॉब्लम, जो आई मे बी उसने यूज किया, एंड देन यस्टरडे आई सॉ लिख रहा है, एंड देन आई टोल्ड हिम सब कुछ सही नहीं होता है, दैट वाज माय लाइन. ज्यादा मैंने समझाया नहीं, तो so things are, so thank you very much, Yashowardhan, for great discussion, and thank you participant for involve yourself in the great discussion, your for inputs. So thank you very much. See you in next session. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.